Hey everyone, it's Angela. I hope that you all have been good and groovy since the last time you saw me. Okay. How have you been? It's been so long. Been so long. I don't want to torture you guys with my singing. So listen, how you doing? What's up? What's going on? So I want to share a little story with you. Really a lesson that I learned today. So this is about alcohol and lowering your vibration. And I really wasn't sure of the angle I was going to make this video until I wrote in my gratitude journal. And so this is the result of me writing in my gratitude journal about my experience. And so the lesson that I learned that I'm grateful for is that it is being true to myself is worthwhile, right? So yesterday I hung out with family, and I come from a drinking family. You know, my family loves to gather around the kitchen table and share some drinks, sit in the living room or wherever and conjugate and get our drink on. We like to sip and chit chat. It's funny, when my dad retired, he got a part-time job working in a liquor store, and I'll never forget my stepmom was like, because he would bring home all this exotic liquor that we had never heard of, and we would taste this and taste that, and this is of course as adults. All of my siblings are adults, and you know, holidays, you know, we'd have some special eggnog, you know, the whole deal. A lot of families are like that. So alcohol is a part of our socializing. One of my sisters and my dad both belong to a wine club. They get a couple of bottles of, you know, wine a month. My dad is a connoisseur of cognac. I just discovered he has $275 bottles of alcohol, of cognac. Who knew? Who knew? I must say it's pretty amazing. But as I got on this awakening journey, and I like to believe that once you know better, you do better, that you're responsible for all of the things that you learn. And I started to learn, you know, that alcohol can lower your vibration, as a lot of drugs, you know, weed, all of that kind of stuff. And then also over the years, as I've gotten a little older, I just noticed the effect that alcohol has had on my body. And I'm not just always here for it, you know. As you get older, after you cross the hump of 40, a lot of people will tell you that you just don't have the get up and go like you used to. You don't have the bounce back that you used to. If you go out drinking on a Saturday night, you're not going to feel yourself again until Monday. Oh, that's just how it is. And so I find myself, over the years, I've been drinking less and less and less. And I've been down to like 1 to 2 drinks pretty much a month, or 1 to 2 drinking days a month. And I say, and that would be me hanging out and having like a couple of usually glasses of wine, or for Father's Day we did a cognac tasting, so I had a lot of cognac and got really tipsy and extremely sick that night and the next day, and didn't feel myself for about 3 or 4 days. And so it's been my goal, you know, I've become vegan this year, and I'm like, you know, I'm ready to let go of alcohol. I don't really need it in my life. And I've really been questioning if I could do it, because again, socializing in my family is, and in the world, really, in the Western world, socializing, alcohol is a big part of that. So last night I was invited to a dinner party with my sister was throwing a little dinner party, and I was excited to go. And it was good because one of my sisters has just given me a bottle of wine, and I didn't want it. I was like, I'm not gonna drink this. So I had something to take to the party, so I was kind of excited about that. So I show up with the wine, and my sister's like, oh, that's so cool, I got all of this wine for you anyway. She had bought a couple of bottles of wine, what I normally would like to drink, and I'm like, oh, I'm not drinking. And she looked at me like, girl, really? Really? You're not drinking, girl? Okay, we'll see how long that's gonna last. And I was like, no, really, I don't have the taste for it. It's just not my thing right now. And so she's like, okay. So she poured a glass of wine, and later, about a half an hour or so later, after we were in the kitchen, you know, I made my famous guacamole. She's delicious. Ooh, you guys should taste it. And She's like, oh, here, taste this. It's a glass of wine. I'm like, girl, you are an enabler. You are trying to get me like the devil, girl. I don't want your wine. Stop tempting me. You are what's that word they use in high school when people are coercing you into doing stuff? Peer pressure. I'm like, you're peer pressuring me. I don't want your alcohol. But I tasted it and I was like, okay, fine. And then it became a thing where jokingly, my sister kept getting me to drink throughout the night. And I finally just acquiesced and I had a glass of wine. That one glass of wine turned into 2 glasses of wine, which turned into a friend showed up and we had shots of tequila. And I decided just to go with it because there's a part of me that feels like not drinking makes me like uptight and a stick in the mud, and I'm worried about the stigma that it creates. And there's this part of me that really wants to be accepted. Ooh, excuse me. There's a part of me that really wants to be accepted, and I have not fully worked through that yet. So I decided I'll just drink. I don't want to be like the stick in the mud. I want to have fun and like, socialize and stuff. And so we did, and it was a good time. But like, I ended up passing out on my sister's couch, and woke up this morning thinking I was gonna throw up. And I just thought, this is silly. This is really silly. If I don't want to do something, I shouldn't do it. But it was bigger because I've been thinking about this for a long time. I've been wanting to not drink anymore, and I wanted to make a video about addictions. I watched a Oprah Super Soul Sunday today, and it was with Gary Zukav, who wrote The Seat of the Soul, which is an amazing book that I'm thinking about reading again. And he talks about how addictions can be all the things that we know about as far as substance abuse, but people are addicted to spending money. Like, you can't walk past the store and not pull out your credit card. And I actually suffer from that too, which is another addiction that I'm working on. People are addicted to sex. People are addicted to, and I never thought of this. He talked about people being addicted to bullying or intimidation and all of these things, these personality traits. An addiction basically is when you're using anything that you have to consistently, and you have no control over it, and you're trying to gain external power. Okay, let that sink in. And so I thought about that today, and I thought about my own life, and I surveyed all of the ways that I have addictive behavior and realized this journey that I've been on. Because when you're not drinking, a lot of times people will ask you why, and I don't always have a good response other than I just don't want to. And I realized today as a 44-year-old woman who will be 45 in just a couple of weeks, that me not wanting to drink is a worthwhile endeavor. Isn't that something? And so I feel comfortable moving forward with just saying, I don't want to. And just leaving it at that. And if someone cannot respect that, it may be someone who I can't spend time with. I don't think that will happen with my family because they already know I'm quirky and a little bit different, and they'll let it alone. But I haven't really set my foot down, because the funny thing is for me, and I don't know if any of you out there may be like this, where you either have long-standing friends that have been in your life for many, many, many years. And for me, my siblings, I've known my sister my entire life. So we have a relationship. And people sometimes, not out of maliciousness, but they want to hold you to who you've been. And when people have known you for instance, as long as I've known my sister my entire life, watching somebody change can seem inauthentic. It can seem really inauthentic to them because you're becoming something different. And it's a little bit of that, who do you think you are? And that's what I think is happening here. It's like, here you are trying to be different, and yet I'm evolving and growing. So I wanted to share that lesson with you because I really got it today, and I wrote it down in my my journal, that being true to myself is worthwhile. And it was like a real strong aha moment, like, oh, I don't need any excuses. And that's where I'm at now. I'm making this dedication to my spiritual practice, and it's the most important thing to me. And it's so beneficial, and it's become so fruitful for me. So I'm so happy to be at this place in my life. And after I made that declaration of going full time with YouTube, I've been really happy, and I'm so glad that I have supporters out there who are willing to ride this journey with me. So I'm going to leave it here. Just remember that being true to yourself, living in your truth, whatever that truth is worthwhile. Okay? I love you guys. Thank you so much. Peace and blessings. Bye.